Hey you Prodigies, ProdCharles here, and in this video I'm going to go over some of the weirdest facts about the Bendy and the Ink Machine Chapter 3 reveal trailer, and also go through some of my reactions about the trailer, which many of the Prodigies have been requesting, so I decided I would make this video for you all. Prodigies, let's get straight into it. Remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more cool and interesting horror game videos, especially about Bendy and the Ink Machine and Chapter 3, of course. And if you cannot watch this video all the way through, remember to tap Add To and select Watch Later. Alright, let's go. Let's start this video up. Let's fire it up. theMeatly games. So exciting. Alright, so this is really cool. This is that opening title card that I mentioned in my analysis video. Basically, cartoons opened up with this. It showed either the character's face or it just said Merry Melodies, Silly Symphonies or whatever, and it said written by whatever staff member wrote it. And it also had a music credit. I actually went back to some older cartoons that showed this opening title card, and there were actually music credits on there. So maybe Sammy was salty and I was onto something there. Anyway, let's keep going. I was so hyped when I saw that, by the way, because I knew an animation was coming. And holy cow, look at this. It is just so... Does anybody not get like chibi anime vibes from this, slash, you know, Studio Ghibli sort of vibes? Because that's the sort of thing that came into my mind when I first saw this. I thought it was super cute. I just couldn't... I was over the moon when I saw this, because this is the first look at the Bendy animation that we get to see out of all of the chapters, guys. I'm sure you were all just as excited. For those who don't know much about Bendy and the Ink Machine, they're probably like, what the heck's this guy going on about? It's a game about a cartoon. We've gone through 2 games about this cartoon without having seen the cartoon, so that's why it's so exciting to see Bendy in motion in 2D. See that the wonderful animations. It's just so good. It's high quality, fluid. It just reminds me so much of those olden style animations. It's great. Anyway, we see the skeleton grabs a Bendy, and yes, there's a skeleton in this. Like, what is up with that? Okay, so the animation is called Tombstone Picnic. It's obviously about skeletons coming out of their graves and torturing Bendy, or at least one skeleton. So this raises 2 alarm bells for me. One, it brings that theme of death into the game, and it kind of reinforces that feeling of resurrection as well. Remember in Chapter 1, we saw the corpse of Boris on that operating table or whatever it was. It was a very Frankenstein-like situation, and at the end of Chapter 2, we see Boris roaming around just fine and dandy. So maybe the purpose of the studio and these rituals that Joey Drew was carrying out was actually to bring dead 3D cartoons to life. Maybe they were put together, or however they were brought into the world, as a dead form, and then they were injected with ink or something. Who knows? The other thing is that this reference to skeletons reminds me a lot of an old Disney cartoon about dancing skeletons. I can't actually remember what it's called. It could be called Dancing Skeletons. I'm sure if you type in Disney old dancing skeleton cartoon, you'll be able to find it. Basically, it was about a similar thing. There was a cemetery and skeletons would come up out of the grave, do little crazy dances, play each other like xylophones with their bones, connect to each other. It was really weird. They also, I think, tortured the birds at the cemetery. You might have to double check on that one for me. But it was an overall very silly little... I'd say it was more like a music video than a cartoon that you would watch for general entertainment, because no one actually talked. It was just a bunch of skeletons jumping out of their graves and dancing to some music. Hey, Bendy's like, what the heck's going on? And Bendy earlier threw his picnic basket away for Boris to come and eat, and check out that expression on Boris. Boris does not look impressed. Even though he's the one that's sneaking food out of Bendy's basket, Bendy's visibly angry. So see, you can't just judge their relationship based on the fact that they're in the same cartoon. You can't just say that they're friends. These guys are obviously... I don't know, I keep saying the word rivals, but they've got some sort of clash going on. There's some sort of opposition going on here. And that gives me the feeling that they're not really that friendly. They're more of a Tom and Jerry relationship. I think somebody actually told me on my analysis video that they also remind them of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny, and like other examples are like in the Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. That kind of situation where they're not necessarily friends, but there's that clash going. Anyway, Boris is pigging himself out. Bendy's angry. So what does he do? He keeps eating, Boris keeps eating, and Bendy gets out his soda pop. I can't express how much seeing this made me feel happy because now we actually learn a lot more about Boris's character. We learn a lot more about Bendy's character. We do see now that Bendy is a cheeky devil, but we also see that there's a little bit of mischievousness to Boris as well. He obviously came and ate Bendy's food without asking, unless he was invited to the picnic or something, I don't know, but it certainly didn't look like it from that exchange. So Boris might actually be a big bad wolf, and Bendy might just be a mischievous prankster, even though he's the star of the show. We see that Boris feels around for that sandwich and then he eats it. All good stuff. All very funny stuff. Now this part confuses me a bit because why does he run around with such a worried face? Let's see if we can go back. Check this out. Why does he look so worried here if he's just running away from Boris? Did Boris perhaps express some kind of strength or power over Bendy in the past? I'm just wondering why Bendy would have this worried face. We see a bit later on that he might be scared of the skeletons, but we didn't see the skeleton pop up at all when he was running away from Boris, so that led me to believe that he was actually running away from Boris. But check this out. He sees the skeleton and runs away. Seems kind of relieved that he got away. Oh, that was so cute, by the way. Now for this part, I'm not quite sure what the shaking legs mean. Is it because he ran a lot, or was it because he was a little bit frightened? I guess you could see it expressed in both ways, but in either case, we see this shadow come up. Shadow of some kind of human. This silhouette looks like it belongs to a human, a really tall human. And then we saw Bendy smiling. So he is happy to see whoever's here. And we've already proposed that this could be Joey Drew entering his own cartoons using some kind of ink magic. Who knows? There's some kind of weird supernatural thing going on at the studio. Whoever it is, Bendy knows who it is, and he's visibly happy. And interestingly, a lot of people have been telling me that Bendy cannot express emotions for some reason. What? This is a smile, right? If I'm not mistaken. Also, a little bit earlier, he laughed at Boris. There you go. He's not only laughing, he's got the biggest cheesy smile on his face. So please, just stop saying that Bendy can't express emotion. And if you think that Boris can't express emotion, then I feel really sorry for you after watching this. Look at that. When the silhouette appears, that's when the film cuts out. Let's just watch that again, and I want to give some extra thoughts. Like I said earlier, it looks like it's kind of based on that Dancing Skeletons animation, which gives more evidence for a Disney influence, even though I do think that there's a lot of influence from all sorts of different cartoons here. That's one big weird thing there. Another thing is we see this happening here, where he comes... Alright, he grabs a soda pop, and then he laughs. He laughs at Boris. What is one of the key messages in Bendy Chapter 1? And it looks like it's going to be in Chapter 3 as well, according to the other part of this teaser. The message, who's laughing now? Now it appears that we do not see Boris laughing at Bendy here, but we do see Bendy laughing at Boris, which means that they both might at some point be laughing at each other in their little mischievous exchanges throughout the cartoons. They do get visibly upset with each other, and they do crazy things to get each other back, and then they laugh at each other, almost as if it's in revenge. That adds a little bit of weighting. It's a little bit of a weird thing that I picked up there that supports that Bendy may have killed Boris and left him in the state that he's in Chapter 1, but Boris came back and wrote the message in Chapter 3. That's if they keep that message in there from the trailer, and I'll show you where it is if you haven't seen it yet. Skipping to the gameplay portion of the trailer, we can see a few more interesting things here. Now, we see two shadowy figures running across here. This first one, I don't know if I'll be able to get the frame. Aha! I got it. So you can see on this shadowy figure, and a lot of prodigies have pointed out to me that this shadowy figure has a tail. Now that is super weird. Why does this shadow have a tail? It also looks like it runs on all fours here. So perhaps instead of just a random searcher inky creature, it might actually be an animal. A cartoon animal, in fact. If we watch on, not long after we can see this shadow pass by as well. There are two shadows. This one looks like... I really think it does look like a human, guys, and it does look like it has long hair. It really looks like Alice Angel to me. And it's hard to tell because it looks like there's some intentional visual effect where it blurs out that character. Even though it's a shadow, I can definitely see hands there, I can definitely see hair there, and I can definitely see human-shaped feet. It also looks like they're wearing a dress, so I don't know, this all points towards Alice Angel, unless there's another female character we haven't come across yet. But if it's not, big deal. If it is, it might give reasoning for the first character. So we saw saw that the first character has a tail, and from what we've seen throughout the Bendy chapters so far, what could possibly be running on 4 legs and have a tail, especially a short stout one like that? How about a sheep? Remember that there was a cartoon called Bendy in Sheep Songs with Boris the Wolf. In that cartoon, there may have been a sheep character that we weren't acquainted with, and this sheep might low-key belong to Alice Angel, who knows? Or maybe Alice Angel has some kind of friendly relationship with this sheep, because it does look like they're in pursuit together. They're in this together, they're looking out for each other, and they're running in the same direction. And I'm going to bet that Henry is running away from the same thing that they are running from. Ink Bendy. And I don't know why Ink Bendy decided to come down Henry's corridor. Perhaps they were really good at hiding, or perhaps Bendy's just not interested in chasing after other 3D cartoons. If it's a human, say Susie Campbell, I'd be really shocked, because Bendy would have just gone past a complete human. But it's like Ink Bendy sniffed out Henry and then started going Sonic the Hedgehog on him all of a sudden. That's pretty much that on the shadows, guys. I thought that was really weird and interesting to point out. Perhaps Alice Angel actually has, I don't know, a sheep. I think that's a sheep. It kind of looks like a monkey as well, but I really doubt it's a monkey. A monkey would probably have a much longer tail than what that shadow had. Maybe it's a dog with a docked tail, who knows? But if it were a dog, I think it would be kind of overcrowded given that we have Boris the Wolf. But then again, in Disney they have Goofy and they also have Pluto, so it could be that sort of thing happening there. It most definitely looks like they're both running away from Ink Bendy, just like we are. But as you know, Ink Bendy sniffs Henry out and eventually chases him to the end of this corridor. And just a second, let's rewind for a bit. Some people thought I missed that thing at the top, that black thing that runs across the top. Of course, I'm going to notice it, guys, because there's a Bendy statue there and I noticed the Bendy statue. But that thing, I just didn't point it out because it looked exactly like the searcher-like thing that ran past below us. How do we know that they didn't get up there really fast, or that's part of their path? Like, who knows? If you think that it would be too quick for them to get up there, then I'd like to know your thoughts on who you think it is. It's either just them or one of the searchers. Really nothing to it. Actually, it could be a new enemy, but we'll just have to wait and see. We've also got all of this ink dripping everywhere. My gosh, it's like it's flooding with ink slowly with all these drips. And also you see all the spider webs there. Ugh, nasty. Gives it that old, gritty feel. Little Miracle Station. We enter here. Were they set up by Alice Angel because she's also running away from Ink Bendy? That might be why they're called Little Miracle Stations. Then we see Ink Bendy come and attack us. Now there's some people that are telling me that this isn't Susie Campbell or Alice Angel singing at all. I don't really have any evidence for or against that, so that's up for interpretation. But some people say that they have solid evidence. Please feel free to send that my way or put it in the comments. I'm sure that will be very interesting for everybody to see. I was so excited to see this new gameplay. It's like months of waiting, and it's finally going to pay off. It looks just amazing. Looks like we're going to have new puzzles with the gears and whatnot. We're going to have new ways to run away and interact with other characters. We're going to have new ways of protecting ourselves against enemies. It's going to be fantastic. What do you think about this? Remember to subscribe and tap that bell for more Bendy and the Ink Machine. And Prodigies, I really hope that these videos help you to expand on how you think, so it helps with your thinking in your daily lives. See ya!